Okay, welcome everybody to the Getting Started training, the Plexus Worldwide training to help you get your business started right. This is not a training about the comp plan or putting your own personal plan of action in place. This is about getting your business set up, getting your back office set up, and in fact, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about how do you get somebody enrolled here. So that's probably the first question I often get from people. They're not really clear where to go to set somebody up. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about the essential pieces of the back office setup, understanding the tools. In this business, it is about the tools. If your mouth is talking and you're not pointing to a tool, you're doing something wrong. Because to be duplicatable, you need to be doing it in a way that everybody else can do it. So pointing to a tool is really essential. We're going to talk a little bit about what would you be looking at to set a 30-day goal and understanding what the first 90 days might look like. Okay, so let's start with getting somebody enrolled. Each and every one of you have your own replicating site. And on the replicating site, you know at the top where you have your ambassador login right here. Oh, let me change that to a highlighter, the ambassador login. But you also have these two buttons right here, shop and join. The join button is for the people who are coming in as ambassadors. That's where you click and it takes you into the ambassador option. First, they're going to choose the welcome pack that best suits them, and that's something you're going to want to help them with. Then they're going to choose their auto qualification. And I will say to you, it doesn't matter what you pick, because the next thing you're going to do when they're set up is customize their backup order. So we're going to go through that. And if they're just going to be a customer trying our products, retail or preferred, you all know that I don't like you to do retail customers. We want to do preferred customers. They pay less, we get paid more. You click on the shop button. Now, if they're a customer, you want to help the customer connect to the tools that will provide that third-party validation. Again, it's not about what you say, it's what the tools say, because the tools can duplicate. So one of the tools we have is the customer webinar. Perhaps once you've set them up as a customer, you've talked to them about the product, maybe they've done the 3-day decision pack, email them the customer webinar and let the webinar teach them how the products work. Schedule follow-up time to discuss their progress on the products. You know, partner with them and help them have success. Encourage them to use the corporate website, your site. They're your customer, your replicating site. You can show them where there's information and where they can get the ingredients and the products that they want, and where they can see the video testimonials. Connect them to the team Facebook testimonial site. I'll provide the address at the end here as we go over some of the tools again. Give them the number for the Wednesday night corporate conference call, that 15 to 20-minute call. Or if they don't want to be making the call, if it's not going to suit their lifestyle, or they don't want to make a long-distance call, ask them if they would like to have the call forwarded to them every week once it's been recorded. This is a reminder that when you enroll customers, start developing a customer email group list. You want to be communicating with your customer. Whatever tools, and depending on the products they're using, you have brochures, you have the health newspaper, give that to them. And never fail to ask people for referrals. It's amazing how often we forget to do that. But if you've got somebody who wants to be on the product to lose weight, chances are they also know people who want to get on products to lose weight. Ask them for referrals. Give them some incentives to get some referrals. Let them know that you're really launching the business, and it would be really helpful. Do they know any people that might be interested in trying the decision pack, might like to partner with them? Have that discussion with them. At least get them thinking. Now, if they enroll as an ambassador, then you're going to help them choose the best welcome kit. You don't care, remember, which kit they pick, whether they pick a $99 or a $199 kit, or even if they prefer to just pick a selection of products. The beautiful thing here at Plexus Worldwide is your product choice. What you start with is not tied to the compensation, so we're not trying to talk them into buying more than they want so that they can qualify for the comp plan. That's one of the great things here. We're going to customize their backup order. I'm going to walk you through that. Help them with the additional products. If they're an ambassador, then chances are they want specific products, and maybe none of the packs will suit them entirely. I was just on the phone with one of the leaders, and they want to do the Slim in the Accelerator and have the shakes in there. Is there any pack would be perfect? No, go pick the pack that has most of the products you want, and then add the additional products that would be suitable. You want to get their tools ordered. You want to get their calendar out, and this is important for them to start calendaring in the events. They're just starting a new business. Even if they're very experienced in this profession of network marketing, they don't know our company yet. So they need to get plugged in. There is no success until somebody gets plugged in and gets familiar with our events, which include our webinars, the conference calls, the recordings, in-homes. Get them plugged in, get it on their calendar. It's new to them, so it's easy for them to forget. But the nice thing now with smartphones is there's lots of bells and ringers to remind you. Help them do that. Discuss what their goals are, what their level of commitment, what type of commitment they're willing to make, how many hours a week are they willing to make. So you start getting a feel for them. The other thing you're always looking for is to get a sense of what kind of builder they're going to be to work with. You know, you're kind of testing how coachable they're going to be. Do they show up? Do they plug into the stuff you tell them is important to plug into? After all, if they're not going to trust you to guide them into success, it's going to be really difficult for them to develop a team who will trust them to guide them into success. So you're really trying to see how coachable somebody is, and it gives you kind of a discussion point at the very least. If after a couple weeks they're not really following the suggestions you can sit down and say, you know, remember we talked about the schedule, we talked about where I think you could get your best learning, and it becomes kind of a starting point. Okay, now they're enrolled, and you're gonna immediately go into their back office. And if you remember, the first thing we want to do is we want to set up their customized backup order. So you're going to click on this button that says Shopping and pick the auto qualification option, which is going to take you to this page. And what you're going to see is the auto in this section. You're going to see the auto qualification that you picked upon their enrollment. But you just pick any one, it doesn't matter, because now what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to create a new auto qualification. Here's what's really important. Even though in this company you don't have to place an order to be paid because your customers' orders will qualify you, if your auto qualification is not turned on, you could have 5,000 points in your name. You will not be paid unless the auto qualification is turned on. So what you're going to do is you're going to create that new auto qualification, and it's going to take you to a page that gives you all the product choices. Now you go in and pick the products. So if you want 2 Slim and Accelerator, you will write 2 and add to order. If you want 10 decision packs, as many people do on their auto ship, because that's our piece that builds our business, put it in, and after you've added all the products, it's going to take you to this very important page. Now, this is what it's going to look like automatically. It's going to be scheduled for the 25th monthly, and the conditional will say yes. What that means is, if the conditional is on, meaning if the conditional is yes, what you're telling the company is that in the event there's 100 PV in your account because you've signed up a customer or two, you do not want your auto ship being sent out. You're saying, I'm qualified, I don't need any product. Now here's what's really important. Very often when we set people up as ambassadors in the beginning, they're not really anything more than good quality customers. They know that they're going to be using over 100 product points a month, and therefore they take the option of a wholesale ambassador account. It's worth it to them to pay the $35 and get the product cheaper. But they're coming in because they want to use the product. So what I would do is I would set up the product that they want, and let's say it's the 12th or the 2nd of the month, it doesn't matter, it's the 2nd of the month. Then when we get to this point, I would change this to the 2nd, and I would turn the conditional to no. That, because they're customers. They came in, they want the product. Doesn't even matter if they're ambassadors wanting to build. We all are trying to create our own story with the product. We need to ensure our product is coming. So most people, when they come in the very beginning, they don't have any business yet. They certainly don't have much product. We put the conditional on no. Now, that's up to people to decide, because you can go in order whenever you want. I actually have our conditional now saying yes, but I order at least once a month. You know, I run out of decision packs. I have to order them anyway. Rick and I are both using the products, so we're always ordering anyway. But this is something you need to look at. You need to customize it and set it on the date that you want the product coming out. Okay, let's go back to our dashboard where you see all the options. Now what we're going to do is go to this section. Now that we've set up their auto ship, I want to go to the Plexus Builder. When you click on that, this is what you're going to see. Now the Plexus Builder is where they have the emails if you want to get on the autoresponders. But see right here, these are your websites. Everybody has two websites, your username.myplexusproducts.com or your username.myplexusopportunity.com. So everybody needs to have a website that they can send their customers to or their potential business people to. What you want to do is go click where it says Customize My Site. It's going to take you, well, this is just an enlargement of that quick link section we just looked at. So you want to have them, you do notice here that we have turn on or off my lead capture page. You can make your replicating site capture pages if you want. So if you're somebody who's doing a little bit of advertising, you want to capture people's names and emails. I personally don't do a lot of online stuff like that, so it's not something I use, but there are people who do. But you do want to go and customize your site. As soon as you click on it, this is what you're going to see. If you notice, there's a tutorial up here. I recommend that you watch the tutorial because that's going to help you understand your options. But if you go to Customize My Site, it is going to take you through the process. You're going to pick all the testimonials you want on the home page. I would suggest if you're going to want to send somebody to a site that's more driven to business, you're going to put business testimonials on there. Obviously on the one that's for products, you probably don't want any business testimonials. You want all the video testimonials to be customer testimonials, product testimonials. You will even organize the pages on your website. It's quite a nice option that you have. So take the time to do that. It's not something we have to do with you. You just take the time when you have time to do that. Okay. Now let's go back here. The next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that people have the tools that they need. After all, if they're going to build a business, they're going to be talking to prospects. They're going to be talking to friends and family about the products and the business. So we need them to have some material with them. You are in business. You want to appear professional. We have a couple options, but under this, when you click on that button, this is what you're going to see when you click on the button that we just highlighted. This is what you're going to see. If you click on Package Savings, this is the most popular package. It's the newspaper with 4 of the brochures, 100 of each, a very, very, very good value. And it gives you some nice tools. The newspaper is an awesome tool, but this also gives you our Fast Relief, our X Factor, Slim and Accelerator are discussed extensively in the newspaper, and you have our protein. So our key products are all covered here. But if that's a little bit hefty and you don't want to spend $99, you can pick the product, the brochures, or in this case, there's a little starter kit for $59, a couple of the brochures in the newspaper. You can choose that as well. In the same area in the back under My Plexus Builder, you can have your business cards done, a car magnet done. So when I start with a new person, I want to take them through this as well, so I have them set up, because there's nothing worse than somebody being in business and 2 weeks later they still don't have their business cards. So we can help them here. We can do it all in the back office, and it all just takes a few minutes because it's just fill in the blanks. So I find that really helpful. Okay, let's go back to the dashboard. Now another section that's really important is the reports section. It's actually where you'll spend most of your time. When you go to the report section, there's a number, and you don't even see them all because it's just a little picture. There's a number of reports that you're going to be looking at. Probably where you're going to go the most is the Ambassador Genealogy Reports. This is where you can go and look at your growing team. Now, because most of you have just enrolled this month, you won't have seen this yet. But if somebody has previously enrolled, their name, their color is blue. And then in the current month, it's green. So you can tell what month they came in. Now, you'll notice a couple things. You see here it says 4, 0, 4, 5. Remember, we get paid plexus points. Everybody in your first level is worth 5 points. Everybody in your second level is worth 5 points. Everybody in your third level. Well, if somebody comes in with a welcome pack, now let's look at this person. She came in with a welcome pack, a $99 welcome pack, clearly, and she ordered a little bit more product, but not quite 100. Had she ordered an additional 100, she would be worth the welcome pack that we get paid on and an additional 4 points because she's on the 4th level. Now, in the case of this person, she ordered her welcome pack, perhaps the $199 pack, and in fact she did, and then she ordered some extra products, and she's got, in her case, preferred customers. This column here is your preferred customers. She now has a total of $389, so she's worth 4 points. If you look down here, this person started with a $199 pack and has ordered $300 more product. She hasn't got any customers yet, so she's ordered all the product herself. So at the top of your genealogy, you have all these different headings, the points. You always want to make sure that there's a Y in this column. If there's not a Y, it tells you that they don't have their auto ship turned on. And that's typically an error because they're not going to get paid if it's not. Let me just go back here for a second. If you want to organize your genealogy by date of enrollment, you can just click where it says Join Date. And then what that will do is they will pull up all, in this case, I've pulled up the last few days of enrollments that have happened, ambassador enrollments. So you'll see they always come in with with the welcome packs as a rule. Typically the $199 is the most popular. But what we're trying to do is by the end of the month, we want to make sure that they're worth points as well. See all these people here are not, well, if they're not, they might not be worth points because in this case, person's clearly done lots of volume, but they're on my 8th level. So they're out of my pay level. I'm not getting any points on them at this point. Whoops. Let me just, okay. So organizing the genealogy so you can take a look. I wanted to point something else out. We get the emails for everybody on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th level. So these are all our people. Anybody who's email, it means they're on their first 4 levels. If we don't see an email, it's because they're beyond our 4 levels. Okay, so let's talk about the tools for success. Tools are really important. The tools might not be exactly what you're thinking of. Your story is a tool. You want to share your story. You want to get comfortable talking about your story. I like to say that I'm very excited because I work with a company that's really just opening up in Canada. I'm very fortunate because I'm one of the first few to bring this product to market. And that sort of begins my story. So finesse your story, feel comfortable with it, practice it because it's one of your biggest tools. Now in this business, our decision packs, 80% of people who try our products for 3 days notice a difference and they want our product. So always have decision packs with you. Carry them in your car, carry them in your purse, always have them. When you get your success kit, your membership kit, there's also a presentation booklet. Very similar to the presentation we do on Monday night. We've just added a few extra pages to it. One of our tools is a Wednesday night conference call. It's a 15 to 20-minute call. When a new ambassador comes in, it's imperative that we get them listening to the call. If they can't listen to it at 9 o'clock on Wednesday night, that's not a problem. It will be recorded, and it'll come up on Facebook under the Plexus Slim corporate site on Wednesday. The reason we want people to listen is the biggest thing we need to do with our new ambassadors is you guys need to build confidence in the product. There's nothing that builds more confidence than when customers are sharing their story. And most of the people who share their story in this call, there's always 2 stories, and they are predominantly customers, and there's a little business tip. And the first 5 minutes, Sheila Medina, the #1 person, covers all of the products in about 5 minutes. You'll learn to cover products quickly and the important things to say. You'll hear testimonials that will always make you think of people you've yet to think of. And it builds your confidence, and it builds your belief system. Of course, we have our Monday night team webinar. That's a perfect place, a live presentation, live webinar to bring your prospects to. We have our recorded webinars. Those you can use 24/7. So when you're talking to somebody and Monday night's not good, or it's Tuesday, you don't want to wait till Monday, well, don't wait till Monday. Ask them if you could send them. If you were to send them this webinar, would they take the time to see it and set a time to follow up with them? Our Facebook testimonial site is a really important place to send your customers and your business builders because this is where they're going to learn and read a lot of testimonials. Here's one of the biggest tools you have. and it's three-way calling. Three-way calling is so important. If I am not hearing somebody, you know, it's one of my personals or somebody I'm working with three-way, and they're not three-waying with me, I usually find they're not building. And what you do duplicates. So it's really important that if you want your team to be doing three ways with you, you need to be doing it with them. They need to see that that's what you do. So three ways are really important. You can always tell the more experienced people when you're working with them because they just, whoops, they just automatically do that. We also have the obvious things, our business cards, car magnet if you want to use it, brochures, newspapers, T-shirts. There's a site that's particularly good for the Americans, a guy named Ryan Higgins in the U.S., who makes all sorts of great T-shirts and kind of logo wear, but there's also the stuff from the company that gets people asking. I mean, we advertise Adidas, we advertise Nike, why not advertise the company that we're working with? And letting the tools do the talking. I said earlier, if your mouth is moving and you're not pointing to a tool, you're doing something wrong. You are not the expert, or try not to be. Some of us, you know, who've been around for a little bit and are taking the responsibility for the team to do some of the recordings, that kind of thing, just utilize us and use us as your kind of your expert, but use the tools, use the conference calls, use the webinars, use the brochures, use the corporate website, use everything. And when they ask a question that would be better asked by customer service, even if you know the answer, send them to customer service. Teach that independence quickly. But here's an example of letting the tools do the talking and knowing how to use the tools. So if I'm talking to somebody and they say, gee, I notice you're losing weight, and we start talking about the product and they seem interested, I'll say, if I sell you one of my decision packs, would you promise to use it for 3 days? If you notice a difference, would you take advantage of our 60-day money-back guarantee? I only have a few, and you can always say this, I only have a few of these left, and I've got a lot of people wanting one. So I don't want you to take it unless you truly are interested. This normally will prompt them to say, yes, that they are interested. I need you to understand how the products work. So would you rather me send you a recorded webinar that only discusses the product, or do you want the one that covers a bit of the business too? Give them the opportunity. Perhaps they would, in fact, like to learn a little bit about the business. Can you be sure to take the 30 minutes before we chat again and before you're done day 2 or day 3 of the products, and get that commitment from them? When would be a good time to talk? If they're starting on the product tomorrow, and tomorrow's Monday, would it be good for us to talk on Wednesday, and can you take 30 minutes? You're kind of making a contract with them, and you might want to then send them the link. If you have a website or brochure, or if you have the brochures or newspaper with you, and if not, that's good for a follow-up. It's all about getting the tools in their hand. You don't have to slam them with everything. Just know that they're there, and maybe if your follow-up is going to be one-on-one, hold off on the brochures and newspaper and just bring that with your next exposure. But use the tools and let the tools be the validation. All righty. So once you've got everybody set up and you got the website, you got the product order, you've sat down with the ambassadors, and you've got the calendar out, maybe you've scheduled a time to do a meeting with them, but you've certainly got the events that are ongoing in their calendar. So you know that as long as they're plugging in, they're going to be getting some training over the next week or two with or without you. Now it's time to talk to them about their 30-day goals. And the goals are going to vary with experience. For some people, they're going to be looking at those achievement bonuses. You know, I could go gold and I can go senior gold and get those bonuses doubled in the first 30 days because they have experience. Or maybe they don't. They just really feel excited and they want to do quite a bit of enrolling. So set the goal. Certainly for somebody who's brand new with no experience, one of the things I want to make sure I do, if at all possible, is I want to get them their initial purchase money back. I want them in the very first month to say that the money I put out for my products and my tools, if I can, I want to try to get that money back for them. So one of the first goals is I want to get them 3 ambassadors. I want to help them. So I'm going to talk to them about, do you know some people that might be looking to make some extra income? Do you have some friends that are in the same situation? If they're a stay-at-home mom, do you know other stay-at-home moms? Do you know other people that are looking to lose some weight who might also know some people wanting to do the same? So we start exploring it. And then I talk with them about how to invite somebody to the Monday night webinar or to watch the recorded webinar. Because our goal that I want them to be really focused on is getting at least 3 ambassadors by the end of the month. And even though we work on 30-day cycles, so if somebody comes in on the 15th, they have until the 15th if they're of the following month. If, for example, they want to go gold, they can go take as long as they want to go silver. But if they want to go gold and get that $250 bonus double to $500, they have 30 days. But I'm always trying to work with the calendar month. So when they come in, if it's the 15th, if it's the 18th, if it's the 25th, is there anything we can do to try to get you 3 ambassadors by the end of the month? If the 3 ambassadors only come in with the $99 welcome pack, well, minimally, they're going to get the $25 on each of those 3 welcome packs, which is $75, and they're going to get the $100 for going silver. So that's the minimum they're going to get. Now, about 80% of the packs that are purchased are, in fact, the $199 because they're a much better savings. In that case, the person's getting $250 back. This is, of course, assuming no customers. But the other thing we want to do is we want to encourage them to get their decision packs. As they set up in business, we make sure that they have at least 10 decision packs in their hand. And I would talk to them about how quickly do you think you can get those 10 decision packs out. I worked with a woman about a week and a half ago who thought she could get them in a week, and she did it in a day. And then we did a private webinar with 7 of them, and 7 enrolled as customers or ambassadors because we scheduled them. She used me, but we scheduled them to do a webinar, teach them how to use products, chat about it a little bit, and then give them their options for enrollment. And most of them became customers. A couple of them became ambassadors. So talk to them about getting the decision pack, getting those customers. If you can get them 10 customers by the end of the month, in addition to the check they could earn another $400. So we could have them a nice little check for their very first month. Now what I want to leave you with is, what story are you writing? Sometimes people don't realize that people follow us because of our story, because of our leadership, because they know that we can take them where they want to go. And as you start your business journey, you're writing a story. And your first 90 days is a really important part of your story. This is the time I say to people, if you have to be out of balance for 90 days, because you can coast with what you've produced in that 90 days for the next year. This is the time that you might miss a little bit of TV. This is the time that you start using your DVR and only watch it when you can't talk to anybody anymore because it's late at night. This is the time that you can set the bar high for yourself, and that story you create is the story you'll always share. I always say to people, I know that you can come in and be a silver or a gold in 30 days because both my husband and I made it to senior gold in our first 30 days. We had over 50 people in our business in our first 30 days. And I share that story because that's what I did, and that for other people who come in who have my kind, at least my kind of experience, they know that that's a possibility. They can go higher than that, but they know that's what I did. Now, if you come in and you say, well, I needed to be on the products for a month before I really got started, you have just given permission for anybody you talk to do the same as you did. Now, when I enrolled, by the end of my first day, I had about 8 people. Well, we had actually a few more than that, but between Rick and I, or on my position, I had 8 people enrolled in my very first day. Now, how I got them enrolled, because I didn't have the product. In fact, it took a long time to get the product in September. We didn't get the product about the 20th of the month. It's much faster now, but at the time it could take 3 weeks for us to get the product. So I thought of some American friends that I could invite to take a look at this company with me and evaluate the products, because I knew by the time I got the products, they will have been on them a couple weeks. I'm also experienced enough to know that my story alone may not be the most powerful. But if I get 10 people on the product, some of them are going to have a very powerful story. And it may be much more powerful than mine. And their story will help me build belief. And their story can be a story I start to build on. And in my first month on the product, I lost about 8 pounds. And I was ecstatic because I didn't do any dieting. I truly tested this product with no dieting. I was excited. But I had people on the product who started at the same time who lost 20 pounds in a month. I was super stoked about their story, and I always shared their story too. So what you do will duplicate the good or the bad. So think about the decisions you make in the beginning. They will impact your business significantly, and you'll never be able to change it. So I say to people, think really hard about the story that you're creating. Is it the right story? Is it the story you want being duplicated? But here's another thing. If you've been in the business for a while, and maybe you have behaved more as a customer, but you're now rethinking of doing your business, your 90 days starts from the day you decide to build your business. You always want to speak with honesty. So when you're talking to somebody, you say, I enrolled as an ambassador, and I wish I had known then what I know now. But I was using the product, or the timing wasn't right for me. But when I decided to really do this business, and my 90 days started 2 weeks ago, and this is what I've done. Set a goal and really work hard to achieve it. Stretch it. You know, if you're somebody who's done a little bit of a home-based business, maybe doing 3 ambassadors is not much of a stretch. If I had set a goal to enroll 3 ambassadors, I mean, I could do that in my sleep practically, as many of you can. So I needed to set a bigger goal. But if you're new, having 3 business partners by the end of the month might be an incredible goal for you. So stretch, make it something that you're going to have to work a little bit. And, you know, just make sure that that story is something that you want to share, because you're always going to share it. Here's something I want to say to you. You know, if it concerns you a little bit when I say you're going to have to give up some things in the first 90 days to build the business, the season of imbalance, that period of imbalance, is only for a season. It's only for 90 days. And you can create a really nice income that's growing with or without you in 90 days. In 90 days, you do enough enrolling and help enough people do some enrolling that you're going to have a nice team going, even if you're not really working all that hard after the 90 days. It's certainly going to be a different kind of work because you're going to be responding to your team rather than starting to create a team. So I thank you guys for the time to get on. Remember, help people decide whether they're going to be customers or ambassadors. If they're an ambassador, get them set up properly, get their back office set up, get them set up with their tools, get them on the calendar, get them in business. Don't just sign them up and think that they're going to learn everything. It can be very overwhelming. Partner with them. Agree that you're going to be talking to them regularly. Ask for permission to hold them accountable to their goals. So when they get a little frustrated, you can say, you know, remember when we spoke at the beginning, you told me to really hold you accountable. Did you tend to get off track easily, or you're a little ADD? You remember that? Well, here I am. I'm calling you on it. Let's get you back on track. Don't worry about all the little steps. Just focus on your end result. And the rest, well, you'll figure it out. You will figure out how to do it. You just stay focused on where you want to be. I know for Rick and I want us both to have Alexis by the end of this year. The sooner the better. I'd like it to be October, but you know, I'm giving myself permission to take until December for both of us to earn Alexis. And I say it to everybody, in order for us to go to Florida for 4 months and live in this very expensive community that we like to go to, this is a job I have to get done. And every single day, I don't even worry about all the little things that happen. I just know what my end goal is, and that's what keeps me fueled. Guys, I thank you for your time. I'm going to turn the recording